These are the cards that were discovered along with the other cards that were concealed in the dashboard of the vehicle. These cards were determined to contain available funds. The occupants of the vehicle stated that the cards were empty. We discovered that these particular cards contained in excess of $20,000 in currency that was available for use. Well, basically what happened was on Saturday afternoon here in Brownwood, Officer Sproul with the Brownwood Police Department conducted a traffic stop in the 500 block of West Commerce Street. The car that was stopped was occupied by three males that were determined to have been from Cuba. They had been in the United States for approximately 8 months. They were here legally, and during the investigation they began to provide details to Officer Sproul about a trip they'd taken from Florida to Colorado and then back down to Texas on their way to another city here in our state. During the interview they began to provide inconsistent details with the as far as where they were going, who they were going to see, what they were going to be doing, and they couldn't remember any names, and they were basically providing conflicting details as far as the recollection. This led Officer Sproul and several other officers, Officer Mares and Officer Acosta, to ask for consent to search the vehicle. They at that time didn't know if they were encountering a criminal offense such as some type of drug possession or drug distribution, or they didn't know what they had. So basically they asked for consent. They were provided consent to search the vehicle. Officer Acosta began searching the vehicle, and when he did that, he noticed that the dashboard area of the vehicle had been tampered with. They continued to search, and they found basically in the pre-existing plastic molding underneath the dashboard, they were using a natural void or compartment in the vehicle to conceal in excess of 100 gift cards. Things, common gift cards such as you would get at Walmart or any business that sells gift card type items. They called me out, which as far as for criminal investigation purposes, to further the investigation. I arrived on scene. We continued to talk to the gentlemen that were in the car. They again gave conflicting details. We confronted them with the gift cards that had been discovered. Once again, they provided incongruent details as far as how they acquired the gift cards, whether or not the gift cards contained any funds on them, and things of that nature. Following that, I, along with the other officers, began to examine the gift cards. We began to inquire with the gift card companies as far as any funds available on the cards, and we determined that a certain number of them did have funds on them. And what we found out was I began to notice when we were going through them that there were a certain set of them that were bundled together. And in those cards that were bundled together, I started noticing some writings on the card, which led me to believe that perhaps these had been loaded with funds, and maybe the writings indicated some type of balance on the card or whatnot. Turns out that was correct. We confirmed through the gift card companies that the cards contained in excess of $20,000 in funds. The gentlemen were confronted with these details. Once again, they provide different stories as far as any knowledge of any funds or how the funds were acquired and things of that nature. We continued with the search of the vehicle. I got to the trunk compartment of the vehicle. I noticed some details which we're trained to look for as far as any kind of areas of a vehicle that may be altered or something that's not from the manufacturer. I was able to locate another device, which is a credit card decoder or encoder machine that was behind basically a piece of carpet that had been glued with some aftermarket glue, and then there was a natural void occurring in the trunk wall they were using to hide this machine. Nobody knew anything about the machine, so it was more probable cause to go along with the other amounts of probable cause that we had. And at this point, things are still being investigated further. The three individuals were arrested for engaging in organized criminal activity, and the underlying offense is money laundering. And because there's three or more persons, we charge them with EOCA, or engaging in organized criminal activity. Right now we're in the process of arranging for some financial investigations regarding the gift cards, tracking the funds down, trying to track some of the sources of the funds, and as far as we also discovered a number of mobile electronic devices in the car. So we've applied for and received search warrants to search those devices. So there's part of the investigation that is still ongoing, very much alive. We anticipate hopefully uncovering more details to see if anybody else was involved in this, and to see exactly what these guys were involved in as far as the criminal element. We do feel certain that this is part of some type of criminal organization. It's not uncommon for gift cards to be used to smuggle money. It's a newer method that the criminal element is using. It's easier to smuggle $20,000 in gift cards as opposed to $20,000 in currency. But other than that, it's just more complicated. It's a way to launder the money. It's a way to hide the money. It's a way to take something that's ordinary looking and use it for criminal purposes. So we're continuing to investigate that along with some other things. We're in the process of filing for seizure on the vehicle that was used during the commission of the felony offense, and we're going to work towards filing a seizure on the money that the $20,000 that was being used, we believe, for nefarious purposes or criminal purposes. Other than that, the investigation's ongoing. So we'll have further as it unfolds.
Okay.
I just want to applaud the patrol division for the work that they did as far as Officer Sproul observing this traffic violation and taking what is quote-unquote a regular traffic stop and pushing past what's on the surface to recognize the suspicious behavior and to take it further and to contact the investigation division. I think it was a great team effort all around as far as everyone doing their part to uncover the crime that was being committed. You know, in this day and time, we have so much coming through Brownwood. It's nice to be able to use our resources and work towards stemming some of the crime that's occurring, not only in this area but nationwide, as far as drugs being smuggled, bulk money being smuggled. These things are something that we're diligent about as far as wanting to use our patrol division to do criminal interdiction and detect crimes. It's been my experience in all the years of law enforcement that just a minor traffic infraction, I would say a large percentage of my felony drug arrest and felony crime arrest in general have come from seemingly insignificant things. It's being able to recognize the criminal element as far as using your experience, using your training, using the resources around you, and understanding that when something, as far as intuition tells you something's not right, chances are it's not. And so it was great work as far as Officer Sproul recognizing this, and great work in Officer Mara's and Acosta's part for interviewing the occupants of the vehicle and determining the inconsistencies in the story. It's great work all around.